Okay, so we've had an update to Raspberry Pi OS, so let's have a look at Imager. And let's do choose device, Raspberry Pi 5, choose OS, and you can see here, so release date 4th of July. I'm going to download the 64-bit version. Let's write it to an NVMe drive, pop it in this caddy, and plug in. And let's write the image. No customization, and yes. Okay, that's all done. So let's hit continue. Let's close all this down. Unplug this one and pop this into my Pi. Now this is a short drive, so unfortunately it has to stick out a bit of an angle, but it will still work fine. And then start up. So nothing changed on this bit, I'll just get logged in and start it up. Okay, so we do have a new screen here, enable Raspberry Pi Connect. Now I've done several videos on Raspberry Pi Connect, which is basically remote access to your Pi, whether you're at home or whether you're anywhere in the world. So as long as you've got an internet connection, you can access remotely your Raspberry Pi, the full desktop, or just the terminal if that's all you need to control. So I'm going to say enable Raspberry Pi OS Connect, and do the updates to the software as normal, although I doubt there's very many. Oh yeah, it's downloading something and installing, all up to date. So let's restart. So everything looks pretty much the same. You can see we've got Raspberry Pi Connect here. I've just signed into that. So if we go to raspberrypi.com/software, you can scroll down through and see all download options. And the one I've downloaded is this one, 64-bit, and we can have a look at the release notes. So we've got a new Linux kernel, 6.6.31, a new firmware, Firefox and Chromium have been updated, small bug fixes and tweaks, labwc compositor installed as an alternative to Wayfire, can be enabled in Raspberry config. So if we have a look at that, so there's two Raspberry configs. There's this one, and there's also Control-Alt-T gives us a terminal. And if we do sudo raspi-config, we have this one as well, which is a bit more in depth. So let's have a look at it in this one. You can see we've got all our normal options: auto login to desktop or to command line, which browser we're using. Raspberry Pi Connect is enabled, but that was in the startup, so I guess that's why. Performance, disable USB current limit, and localization. So nothing much in there to look at. So it must be in this one. So labwc. So probably advanced options. So let's try the Wayland tab. Yeah, labwc. labwc window manager with Wayland backend. And you can see we've got Wayfire here and also OpenBox. And if we look up labwc, which is this one, and if we scroll down, labwc stands for Lab Wayland Compositor. It's a WL roots based Windows stacking compositor for Wayland, inspired by OpenBox. Lightweight and independent with a focus on simply stacking windows well and rendering some window decorations. It takes a no bling frills approach and says no features such as animations. It relies on clients for panels, screenshots, wallpapers and so on to create a full desktop environment. And it says here why. So we feel there is a need for a simple Wayland window stacking compositor which strikes a balance between minimalism and bloat approximately at the level where window managers like OpenBox reside in the X11 domain. Okay, well, let's switch into it and see if anything looks different. Oh, it says it's active already. Oh no, you do have to reboot. So I've rebooted and everything looks fine, and I've just checked Raspberry Pi Connect and that has let me use it. But if we go back, let's just log in via the terminal as well, just to check that that's also working. I don't know what the buzzing is outside, my neighbour must be doing something, but you can see all of that is working fine. So what else have we got? So Wayfire fix for touchscreen, crash when opening multiple windows, Fix some bugs with PCman, which is the file manager, and allow customization of more than 2 desktops. Keyboard shortcuts. Improved encryption for WAV-ENC. Better handling for virtual displays. Raspberry config has had settings added. Obviously I talked about the Raspberry Pi Connect setting, but we've also got a setting of PCIe speed and also keyboard options. So let's open that terminal again. So here we are under advanced PCIe speed. So Gen 3 to be enabled. That's nice to see. And we've got some keyboard options. Set keyboard layout to match your keyboard. Here we go. Okay, so I won't bother doing that. More reliable method to detect virtual displays. Add brightness control for DSI displays, so the ribbon connected displays. Support for new touchscreens. Override of power key on Raspberry Pi 5. Theme settings for labwc. And customization of labwc. And customization of more than 2 desktops. Yeah, so a really good update. I haven't tried playing around with this yet to see if it looks that different. So if I do right click here, yeah, all of that looks pretty standard. So if we were to change the background, taskbar, yeah, I prefer it at the bottom and I prefer it to be very large. Yeah, and all this seems to be customizable the same as it was before. And I've updated my version of KDE Plasma, which is based on Raspberry Pi OS. And I've added Raspberry Pi Connect with Raspberry Pi config, and all of that has gone fine. And it does work, although not with the graphical user interface. So you can see here, this is the Pi. So if I hit Connect, let's try and get a little bit less reflection on that. I can access the terminal, but I can't get a graphical user interface to work with it. Obviously I could log out of this and log back in with a different window manager and then it will work fine, but not with KDE Plasma. Okay, so I hope all this helps. Thanks to everybody at Raspberry Pi for keeping this all up to date. It is really good that we get such regular updates. Linux is so well supported on a Raspberry Pi 5. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.